According to the New York Post this morning, and of course the Post broke the laptop scandal, Google searches for the phrase, "Can I change my vote?" have been trending in recent days, and they are linked to searches for Hunter Biden. Joining me right now is former White House chief strategist and War Room host, Steve Bannon. Great to see you, Steve. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me, Maria.
So your reaction to what we're seeing now, according to the New York Post, people want to change their vote if they voted early because now they're understanding more about what Hunter Biden has been involved in, all of these big money deals, paying him millions of dollars, potentially paying Joe Biden, if you believe that last email that says 10% held by H for the big guy.
Look, this is not about Hunter Biden. The hard drive from hell is about Joe Biden. This shows you how Joe Biden's been compromised by the Chinese Communist Party financially. I mean, and there's going to be more emails coming out today, more deals with the Chinese Communist Party by a host of news sites. They're going to be putting them up all day directly from the hard drive and not refuted at all by any of the parties. In fact, tonight on Fox News, you're going to have Tucker Carlson's going to be out with Bo Belinsky again with recordings and direct conversations he had with Joe Biden. Joe Biden right now, Maria, is in the witness protection program. The reason he's not on the campaign trail is not simply the fact he doesn't have a closing argument and he doesn't have the energy. They're hiding him because they understand that any question by the press at all, he has no answer for. This is only going to get worse. And the tech oligarchs are trying to suppress this information with how they do searches. But it's exploding, and it's particularly exploding if you look at the targeted searches. It's exploding exactly in the parts of the country the Biden campaign does not want. People are thirsting for this information. They want to make a fully thought-through decision. This is now a referendum on Joe Biden and his character, right? And what he's done with the Chinese Communist Party in selling us out, selling working-class people out. So this is going to be, I think, in the last 7 days of this campaign, as you know, Trump's the best closer we've ever had. He's making a closing argument. Joe Biden's in hiding. If Joe Biden comes out, the first thing he has to address is being compromised, not just corruption. It's corruption that led to compromise by our greatest enemy, and that is the Chinese Communist Party.
You know, it's unbelievable. I want to get to how this is all playing out in battleground states and the president's closing argument, rather. But let me just end with this. Can you imagine if Ivanka Trump, Donald Trump Jr., or Eric Trump, I mean, we've got a list of stuff here, received $5 million from CEFC, that's the Chinese company, received $3.5 million from the Russian oligarch, the former wife of the former mayor of Moscow, set up a $1 billion hedge fund after going on Air Force Two and meeting folks from the Bank of China and then getting that $1 billion infusion into hedge fund. And then, of course, there's Bartiromo, where he made $4.2 million for sitting on the board. This is the business deals that we are talking about, that we have evidence of from all of these emails, and there's no comment about it from any of the media, no questions of Joe Biden. Imagine if the shoe was on the other foot.
Well, listen, they wouldn't be on the other foot because the Trump family are patriots. They would never even consider doing this. This is the thing that the American people are starting to embrace now, and you lay out so magnificently with James Freeman in your book, The Cost, which I read in one sitting because you can't put it down. It talks about the cost of what the Chinese Communist Party has done to working class people throughout this country. Remember, this Biden scandal has an internal industrial logic to it. Everything is wrapped around monetizing access to Joe Biden. And they did it when he was in the Obama White House. That's the thing about Bob Belinsky, and these emails go back to 2011. He monetized it while he was in office. He's monetized it after office. He monetized it while he was running for president. This is a scandal. And Biden's got to understand, this is not going away on November 3rd. There are financial crimes that are coming out every day in these emails, and they're all going to be prosecuted. FAR violation. I mean, what Paul Manafort's in jail for, you've got pages and pages of this stuff, and people that are associating these emails are coming forward to the people that have them, and their lawyers are freaked out about, you know, they will come forward and sign more affidavits. So the Biden camp has to understand, you can keep Joe Biden in the witness protection program. You can keep him down there in the cave, right, with Jill feeding him lunch every day, but you're not going to be able to get around what these emails say. And tonight on Tucker Carlson in front of the whole nation, I think you're going to have recordings and eyewitness.
Yeah, I'll be tuning in for that Bobulinski interview. You're right. All right, let's talk about President Trump's closing argument, because the president has been talking about opening up the economy. We know that Joe Biden says that, look, he'll lock it down again if the science goes there. There's a new article in the Journal this morning writing about how President Trump is really can win this election by reaching out to all of these groups that he has already been. Go ahead.
You see it in Northeast Pennsylvania. You see it in heavily Catholic Wisconsin, working class whites, plus African-American males, Hispanic. I think Steve Cortez is right. We're going to get north of 40%. The Biden peaked too early. Trump is surging. This is going to be a horse race all the way down to the end.
And you think that this is going to be a message of economic nationalism, Steve?
Absolutely. Joe Biden was selected so he could try to sell this phony populism and economic nationalism of what Joe Biden is. He's from Wilmington, Delaware. President Trump's the real deal. That's what this is going to come down to. Who's going to bring the factories back? And quite frankly, who's been compromised? Who's in business with the Chinese Communist Party? Biden can't argue that in Northeast Pennsylvania. He can't argue that in Wisconsin. He can't argue that in Michigan. That's why he's in the witness protection program. They don't want him out there. Trump's going to close this like he closed 16.
Real quick, Steve, what states are you watching in order to get a feeling on election night that you think the president will close this? Is it Pennsylvania? Is it North Carolina? Are these the two most important, or what else?
Look, you can't get away from the fact Georgia and Arizona, you got to watch the particularly establishment Republicans. That's why I think glorious ACB last night, her coming to the Supreme Court sent a really positive energy into this. But Georgia, Arizona, the ones he could take are Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. I would look there, particularly in working class areas. Northeast Pennsylvania could be the key that picks the lock in this campaign.
And, of course, oil and energy, real important to those states. We're going to talk with the former CEO of Shell Oil when we come back. Steve Bannon, it's great to see you. And thank you for picking up my new book, Steve. Great to see you, Steve Bannon. Stay with us. We'll be right back.